Chapter 94 Level Up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 94 The level rises sharply. After flying with Ziyun Wing for 2 days, Lin Feng landed in a hidden valley with few human traces. Looking around, there was no sign that anyone had been here. Lin Feng took out Xiao Kai and saw that this guy was still sleeping. Place it gently on the grass far away, so as not to knock the little guy away when it breaks through. After doing this, Lin Feng flicked the ring and took out the weird transparent jade bottle, looking at the blood-red elixir inside. He hesitated for a while and finally opened the seal. Since the 7th grade elixir has a low spiritual intelligence, it is not yet known that the seal has disappeared, and it is still staying quietly in the bottle. Upon seeing this, Lin Feng quickly put 2 fingers into the jade bottle, took out a pill, and then quickly replaced the stopper. He was suddenly taken out, and the blood-red pill between his 2 fingers had a dark red glow like an eye in the center. Immediately, he exerted force outwards, trying to escape, and even Lin Feng's hand was carried away by the elixir. Seeing this situation, Lin Feng hurriedly grasped the life-devouring pill tightly in his hand to prevent the latter from escaping. Take a deep breath, hesitate slightly, and then swallow. As the elixir entered his stomach, soon after, the originally solid elixir began to slowly squirm. At this time, it looked more like a thick blood-red liquid. However, Lin Feng's mind could be sensed. That small ball of liquid contained extremely rich energy. After the ball of liquid squirmed for a moment, the surrounding liquid suddenly decomposed into countless blood-red energy threads. These threads paused for a while, seemingly looking for their own route. After that, those threads shot out in all directions and began to penetrate everywhere inside Lin Feng's body. Only the dark red blood glow in the center of the elixir was left, staying in place alone. The scattered threads first come from the abdomen where the elixir is located, then the lungs, heart, and spleen. Finally, every part of Lin Feng's body was touched by red threads. Moreover, wherever the energy thread touched, it was dyed with a layer of blood-red light. If you look at Lin Feng's appearance, you will find that even his skin has a faint blood-red color at this time. After the red light filled the body, a strange wave suddenly spread back to the starting point. The dark red glow of blood in the center seemed to sense the information sent back by the silk thread. A somewhat special thread stretched out again, straight into Lin Feng's doujing. Hey, why is there no movement? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart when he saw that there was no movement after the blood-red energy covered his body, but as soon as he finished speaking, the small dark red spot on his abdomen suddenly erupted with an extremely huge amount of blood-red medicinal power. This medicinal power spread to every part of Lin Feng's body along the extending threads. Wherever the blood-red medicine passed, some medicine would be left behind, and then slowly seep into Lin Feng's various organs. When the medicinal power entered the organ, it melted quickly and merged with Lin Feng. Then, nourished by this medicinal power, Lin Feng's physique gradually became stronger. This situation lasted for about several hours, and it stopped only after the last trace of the medicine was used up. After Lin Feng's physique was strengthened, those threads sent out another wave of waves and rushed towards the center point, as if telling the dark red that the action can begin. After receiving the information from those threads, the dark red spot in the center suddenly began to rotate. Moreover, the speed of rotation is getting faster and faster. At the end, Lin Feng could no longer clearly see the appearance of the center point. Instead, there was a dark red vortex, like a black hole, suspended in Lin Feng's abdomen. After a moment, the dark red vortex suddenly released a strong suction force. However, it did not absorb any fighting spirit from Lin Feng. But the latter could feel that something extremely important in his body was being quickly sucked into the dark red vortex. That kind of thing, although it can't be explained clearly. It's unclear. However, his intuition told Lin Feng that the consequences of losing that kind of thing would be very serious. After thinking for a moment, Lin Feng already knew the answer. The thing that was sucked away was life force. The dark red vortex in the center is rapidly growing in size as it absorbs more and more life force. Then, with a flash of dark light, an extremely large and pure energy suddenly followed the special red silk thread and was instilled into Lin Feng's doujing. With the continuous input of energy, doujing also began to spin uncontrollably. Moreover, the rotation speed is getting faster and faster, and the volume of doujing gradually begins to expand. Lin Feng's fighting spirit level also began to rise slowly. In a short while, the rank rose from 2-star to 3-star, then 4-star, and then 5-star. However, due to too much energy, Dou Jing was not able to absorb it all at once. The overflowing energy began to gradually fill all parts of Lin Feng's body, and Dou Jing also expanded rapidly and uncontrollably. The expansion in various parts of his body gave Lin Feng a strong feeling of swelling and cracking. It caused cold sweat to break out on his forehead, and then it kept sliding down, and finally seeped into the soil. Lin Feng finally understood why the elixir was used to strengthen his physique. After this strengthening, the body is about to swell and burst. Considering the previous physique, the whole person is probably in pieces. However, even if Lin Feng's fighting spirit level continues to rise, his momentum is getting stronger and stronger, but it did not bring him the pleasure of breaking through the realm, but a strong feeling of weakness. Lin Feng knew that this unspeakable feeling of weakness was caused by the constant drain of life force from his body. After a while, Lin Feng's fighting spirit level reached the peak of the great fighter. However, the rising speed has no intention of stopping at all. As the energy continued to be infused, the diamond-shaped crystal in Lin Feng's body suddenly trembled slightly. A low buzzing sound came out quietly, and finally echoed within the cyclone. Bang, bang. Quietly, a subtle and extremely rhythmic sound sounded in the cyclone. If you listen carefully, it sounds like the beating of a heart, which is extremely mysterious, and as the rhythmic sound sounded, the light on the diamond-shaped bucket crystal also became stronger and weaker. Moreover, under Lin Feng's careful gaze, he discovered that the Dou Jing, which was originally somewhat irregular, gradually became as round as a pearl. As the body of Dou Jing becomes rounder, the water chestnuts all around it protrude strangely. In this way, it looks very much like a sea urchin covered with long spines. Counting carefully, there are exactly 9 long spikes on the sea urchin. The light of this sea urchin like Dou Jing waxed and waned, and as the light grew stronger and weaker, the extremely rhythmic beating of the heart also sounded again. It looks like there is a living heart in the sea urchin. When the diamond-shaped bucket crystal was completely transformed into the sea urchin bucket crystal, the intensity of light on its body became more and more rapid, and the sound of the heart beating also became faster. Bang, bang. The low and dull sound slowly echoed in the body, and in the end, it was completely on the same beat as the beating of Lin Feng's heart. At the moment when these two kinds of beating were completely condensed, the sea urchin crystal inside the cyclone suddenly trembled, and an extremely powerful energy ripple spread out from it. The energy ripples passed through the cyclone, meridians, and bones in the body without any hindrance, and finally penetrated the skin, and then suddenly exploded. At this moment, a spirit-fighting aura suddenly poured out of Lin Feng's body, passed through his body, and spread to the vicinity of the valley. However, although Lin Feng has advanced to Dou Ling, the energy infusion has not stopped. Instead, it seemed that Lin Feng's physical endurance had become stronger, and the speed of infusion suddenly increased several times, and Lin Feng's momentum continued to rise as before. Soon, Lin Feng came to the 2-star Dou Ling, then the 3-star, and then the 4-star. As the level of fighting spirit increased, the spikes on the sea urchin-shaped crystals in Lin Feng's body continued to retract. After half a day, there were only 9 thorns left, and the last thrust is also gradually shortening at a rather slow speed. Perhaps, the moment it completely retracts into Dou Jing, it represents the moment when Lin Feng is promoted to Dou King. However, Lin Feng discovered that the dark red vortex that was originally rotating rapidly had slowed down at some point. After thinking for a moment, he finally came to a conclusion: the energy supporting the rotation of this vortex was almost exhausted. As for the energy that supports the rotation, it is obvious that it is the medicinal power of the life-devouring elixir itself. Boom! After a while, the last spike of the sea urchin-shaped bucket crystal in Lin Feng's body was completely integrated into it. A huge momentum suddenly rushed out of the body. That powerful aura made some of the surrounding monsters below the 4th level tremble with fear. After that, they hurriedly took their treasures and quickly fled into the distance, and the Dou Jing in Lin Feng's body began to slowly rotate again. Then, it suddenly turned into a pool of viscous red liquid and was thrown to various parts of Lin Feng's body. The radiating liquid energy was blown by the cyclone to almost every part of Lin Feng's body, and whenever the liquid energy is contaminated with the meridians, bones, and flesh, Lin Feng will find that these liquid energies are slowly integrated into it. Seeing this situation, Lin Feng felt bursts of ecstasy in his heart. He could feel that with the intrusion of those liquid energies, every piece of his bones and flesh was almost transforming. gradually filled with powerful power. The reverse ejection of the cyclone lasted for several hours before slowly stopping. If the cyclone below Dou Wang breaks into pieces, then this person's cultivation path will also come to an end. Because there is no cyclone to store fighting energy, this person will not be able to mobilize fighting energy, let alone store fighting energy. But at this time, as the Dou Jing disappeared from Lin Feng's body, the Dou Qi in his body did not dissipate. On the contrary, it has become many times stronger than before. Chapter 95 Ziyan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is because once a monk reaches the realm of fighting king, it is no longer like before, purely using one's own fighting spirit to fight. After entering this level, the fighting energy in the body can begin to interact with the almost endless majestic energy in the vast world outside, and then mobilize it for one's own use. Its power and sustainability are far from being comparable to the previous realm. And only when you reach this level can you fully unleash the full power of Earth level. Fighting skills. After all, it is a major feature of fighting skills at the Earth level and above. It is to be able to mobilize the energy of heaven and earth to attack the opponent, thereby exerting a power more powerful than oneself. In the realm before Dou Wang, he used earth-level fighting skills, although he could also use fighting skills to absorb the fighting spirit between heaven and earth, but after all, it relies entirely on fighting skills to absorb the fighting spirit between heaven and earth, and it can't help at all, but the Dou Wang can absorb the fighting spirit between heaven and earth together with the earth-level fighting skills. Whether it is speed or other things, it is much stronger. After being promoted to the king of fighting, Lin Feng's mind swept through his body. I found that compared with the original narrow meridians, the current meridians are like crystal clear and spacious pipes, emitting a faint fluorescence in the body. Although he didn't make any movements, he could clearly feel that the meridians in his body were now stronger than before. Whether it is resilience or tolerance, there is a leap in transformation. However, at this time, the rotation speed of the dark red vortex in the abdomen became extremely slow. After a while, the thing gradually stopped spinning. After the rotation completely stopped, the small dark red dot exploded under Lin Feng's mental gaze. With a muffled sound, the last bit of its medicinal power was quickly fed back into Lin Feng's meridians. However, at this time, his physical condition had improved dramatically, and the power of these medicines did not cause him any pain. However, the potency of the 7th grade elixir was extremely huge. Even if it was just a little bit left over, coupled with the energy that had been released from Dou Jing before, the two together could fill his meridians to the brim. When Lin Feng saw this, he took a breath and began to use his skills to refine the remaining energy. This refining process lasted all night. The next morning, Lin Feng finally slowly opened his eyes that had been closed all day and night. He clenched his fists and couldn't help but grinning from the corner of his mouth to the back of his ears. Unexpectedly, that last bit of energy actually raised his fighting spirit level to the peak of the 1-star fighting king. His mind moved slightly, and waves of powerful fighting spirit, like floods, suddenly rushed out from various parts of the body, and finally flowed in the crystal meridians. While the fighting spirit surged, the crystal clear meridians were like a river dam that had been built long ago and was filled with raging water. The meridians shrank and swelled, making an inaudible sound of joy. Is this the power of Dou Wang? Sure enough, being able to absorb Dou Qi directly from heaven and earth is far beyond what the previous great Dou masters and Dou Ling can compare with. No wonder this Dou King will be an important watershed in the journey of cultivation. Feeling the powerful fighting spirit in his body, he murmured softly. However, he could faintly feel that under this power, there was a sense of vanity. He knew that if left unchecked, the side effects of this short-term surge in Dou Qi level would have a greater impact on his practice as he advanced in practice. However, although Lin Feng was a little troubled by this situation, he did not regret it at all. A low-level monk like him with no background must fight for his own life in order to have a future. After all, although fighting spirit is troublesome, there are ways to solve it, but if he practices normally, with his talent, he will most likely stop at a high-level Douzone. If you are lucky, you may have a chance to advance to Douzone. However, from the moment he saw the life-eating pill, a plan had already emerged in his mind. This may cause him to lose everything, including his life plan. However, it may also be a plan to make him the top powerhouse in the mainland. His thoughts wandered for a long time. Lin Feng shook his head, temporarily suppressed those thoughts, closed his eyes again, and the fighting spirit in his body began to try everywhere. Finally, fighting energy circulated rapidly along a strange meridian route, and after an instant, it burst out from his back. Pong! That the crimson flame wings suddenly shot out from behind. The wings are about 1 foot wide and have an arc that is like the wings of a phoenix, gorgeous and stunning. The transformation of fighting spirit into wings is something I have dreamed of before. He tilted his head slightly, looking at the red flame wings stretching out from behind, feeling slightly absent-minded. He is not using his flying fighting skills now. He relies entirely on himself to display his fighting spirit into wings. However, Lin Feng came back to his senses and then used his much stronger soul perception to scan around his body. I found that my body at this time was no longer as vibrant as before. Instead, there was a scene of sunset. It seems that we must get that share of Shou Wang jelly. Sighing slightly, he was mentally prepared for his physical condition and was not too panicked. If that doesn't work, then waste an opportunity for Medusa to take action and ask her to help snatch the longevity royal jelly. Thinking of this, Lin Feng looked at the little guy who was still sleeping soundly in the grass in the distance, and moved his hand slightly. A burst of fighting energy left the body and quickly swept towards the little guy, gently entangled it and pulled it to Lin Feng's side. He took the little guy into his arms and took out a medicine cauldron again. The growth of fighting spirit will also drive the soul power to become stronger. He also wants to know how far his medicine refining skills can grow. As soon as his mind moved, powerful fighting energy suddenly surged out from all parts of his body. Under the mobilization of these fighting energy, the purple fire in his body was quickly mobilized. Then, Lin Feng put one hand on the medicine cauldron. Boom! With a deep muffled sound, purple flames suddenly filled the entire medicine cauldron. Seeing that the flames were too big, Lin Feng hurriedly lowered the flow of fighting energy. After a few minutes, he got used to the unfamiliar feeling of increasing fighting spirit, and immediately took out the prescription for the purple heart barrier breaking pill that he got from the snake tribe. After reading the contents inside, he began to search for Neji and found that he could probably collect about 10 medicinal materials from him. Seeing that everything was complete, Lin Feng carefully recalled Otto's experience of failing to refine this elixir and the noted points of attention. After a while, refining started. That he casually threw a medicinal plant into the medicine cauldron, and then controlled the purple fire to refine the essence of the medicinal plant. Since his combat energy and soul power have been improved at this time, the speed of refining is also several times faster than before. In less than a moment, all the medicinal materials have been refined. However, considering that it was the first time for Lin Feng to refine this level of elixir, there was a high failure rate. It was not until 10 portions of the required medicinal materials were extracted that the fusion and elixir condensation began. Boom! With a muffled sound, the third batch of medicinal materials still failed to condense into elixir, and was then discharged by the special device of the medicinal cauldron. Seeing this, Lin Feng exhaled slightly, put in the medicinal essence again, and began to refine it. Half an hour later, Lin Feng fired a burst of fighting energy from his palm and slapped the medicine cauldron, and the originally quiet cauldron lid suddenly flew out. Afterwards, large swaths of purple flames swarmed out of the medicine cauldron, and at the center of the flame, a purple light burst out. In an instant, the flames around it were driven away. As the light emitted, a rich purple fragrance slowly rose up. Finally, like a spiritual mist, a purple mist cloud formed above Lin Feng's head. Seeing the rich scent of colored medicine, Lin Feng raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and with a move of his hand, a purple elixir from the source of the scent flew quickly to his side. He grabbed it and looked at the pill in his hand. After 5 failures, he finally refined the 4th grade peak pill, the purple heart barrier breaking pill. Lin Feng also didn't expect that the increase brought by Dou Qi would be so large. There was a slight joy on his face, and he murmured in a low voice, "Purple heart barrier breaking pill can be refined. It seems that I should be able to try that 5th grade pill. The elixir is here." Thinking of the large amount of high-end medicinal materials in his hand, he decided not to return to Black Imperial City for the time being. Anyway, all the items needed for refining medicine are sufficient. Instead of going to such a chaotic place, it is better to refining medicine in peace in this valley. Whoosh! Just as Lin Feng was deep in thought, a petite black shadow with wings suddenly appeared from the side, and then shot towards the former Dare you steal my pill? Lin Feng broke out in a cold sweat when he saw someone actually sneaking up to him without being discovered, and couldn't help but think of the fighting spirit from before. Could it be that someone from the same force as the previous Dou Ling discovered me? That I thought in confusion. However, the movements in his hands did not stop, and he immediately used the Qi Kaishan fist to attack the black shadow. Oh! The moment the two powerful vindictive energies of red and deep purple collided, a violent current of vindictive energy suddenly burst out and dispersed in all directions. The strong airflow instantly destroyed the originally beautiful small valley. So strong. As soon as they made contact, bursts of huge force suddenly came from his arm, causing Lin Feng to suffer a slight loss, and his body slid back dozens of meters uncontrollably. However, he also succeeded in repelling the opponent and preventing the opponent from moving. Hey, you can actually find me. The man was a little surprised when he saw that he failed to grab the elixir from Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng also froze his figure at this time, looked up into the air, and saw that the person who attacked him was actually a little girl in white who only reached his waist. The little girl seemed to be no more than 12 or 13 years old. She had long lavender hair that reached down to her waist. Her cheeks were extremely white and tender, and her pink and jade-like appearance was extremely cute. A pair of big lilac eyes were staring at the purple heart barrier-breaking pill in his hand. Seeing the person attacking him in front of him, Lin Feng immediately exclaimed, "A fighting king who is 12 or 13 years old." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng suddenly thought of a magical beast and once again sorted out the known information about the person in front of him. A little girl, 12 or 13 years old, with purple hair. Wait a minute, this little girl in front of you is not Ziyan, right? Looking up and down at the little girl in front of him, Lin Feng was secretly surprised. He also didn't expect that making an elixir would attract this little guy. Ziyan's eyes were staring unkindly at Lin Feng in the distance. She was originally hiding in a mountain forest not far away, preparing to snatch the medicinal materials guarded by a 5th-level monster. Just when she was about to take action, there was suddenly an alluring scent of medicine coming from the valley. She couldn't bear it anymore, gave up her previous action, and ran over to rob, but he didn't expect that he would be discovered by the person in front of him. But thinking of his own strength, he immediately said in his childish voice, "Hey, you can't beat me. Give me that pill and I won't beat you. How about that?" Chapter 96 Feng Xing Dan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 96 Popular Dan. Lin Feng on the side also moved his dark eyes slightly. The little girl opposite is one of the few super-rich women on Dou Qi Continent, so he must find a way to have a relationship with her. After a moment, a smile appeared on his face, and he said seductively, "Otherwise, I need to concentrate when I am practicing the medicine, and it is difficult to protect my own safety. You are responsible for your safety while I am refining the medicine, and I will give you the elixir as a reward." "How?" "No, it's so troublesome. I can just steal your elixir. Why do you still have to work?" Upon hearing this, Ziyan felt that this job must be boring, and immediately rejected the former's proposal. Lin Feng was not annoyed at being rejected by the other party. His shoulders shook slightly and a pair of red wings came out of his body. After his wings spread out, another burst of purple-black light appeared behind Lin Feng. A pair of purple-black wings that looked like substance slowly emerged again. This pair of purple and black wings extends directly along the red wings. It looked like fire wings wrapped in a layer of black wings. This is another function of flying fighting skills, superposition. The so-called superposition, as the name suggests, is two things covered together. This is the case with this flying fighting skill. If one reaches the fighting king level in strength, one can superimpose two kinds of wings on top of each other. The speed that this superposition can generate will naturally far exceed that of ordinary Dou Qi wings, but the only drawback is that it consumes a lot of fighting spirit. Otherwise, if it is used to fly on the road, the speed will really make people feel what it means to chase the stars and the moon. Then Lin Feng's wings shook and he quickly flew into the sky, making himself at the same height as Ziyan. Then he smiled and said, "I may not be able to defeat you, but if I want to run, you can't catch up with me either. Make sure you don't think about it again." "So fast?" Ziyan exclaimed when she saw Lin Feng's figure flashing and reaching the same level as herself in the air, and there was an expression of disbelief on that cute little face. Seeing Ziyan's expression, Lin Feng chuckled and said, so, do you want to consider agreeing to me? In this case, there will be a large amount of elixirs every month. Moreover, if you can find other medicinal materials in the future, I'll help you refine it for free. Upon hearing this, Ziyan's lavender eyes lit up slightly and asked again, really? If I invite you to be my guard, I will definitely stay with you often. If I lie to you, you can come to me at any time. Wouldn't you be causing trouble for yourself? Lin Feng shook his head and then said. Upon hearing this, Ziyan thought for a moment and felt that what Lin Feng said made sense. She was often with him, and if he dared to lie to her, she would beat him with her fists. What you said makes sense. I promised you. If you dare to lie to me, Ziyan nodded and agreed, but she was also worried that she would be deceived. After speaking, she rubbed her fists with a hint of threat in her tone. Immediately, she thought that when the old man in the college asked her to play outside, the interval between returning to the college to report that she was safe could not exceed 1 month, and added, however, I still have to leave for a few days every month, and you can't stop me. Okay, to show my sincerity, I will give you this pill. Lin Feng felt happy when he saw Ziyan agreeing, and then threw the elixir in his hand to her. If you're wise, leave your safety to me in the future. Seeing that she got a good quality elixir for free, Ziyan smiled happily. After taking it, she popped it into her mouth, chewed it and swallowed it. Lin Feng was in a very good mood at this time. Not only did he have a relationship with this young rich woman, but he also felt confident about the longevity royal jelly matter. He currently has 3 Dou Wangs on his side. After buying the Shou Wang jelly, even if he doesn't use Medusa, as long as he doesn't go up against a strong person with a 5-star Dou King or above, he has nothing to fear. As for whether I can buy longevity royal jelly, his wallet told him, no problem. Suddenly, Lin Feng remembered that he had not asked Ziyan's name, so he asked, by the way, my name is Lin Feng, what is your name? Oh, I almost forgot, my name is Ziyan. Upon hearing this, Ziyan also introduced herself. Ah. Lin Feng nodded slightly and flew towards the medicinal cauldron that was rushed far away. Looking down carefully, he found that because it was too close to the place where he and Ziyan fought, it was covered with dents at this time, and it was obviously unusable. Sure enough, it's still useless. Seeing that the medicine cauldron he bought from the snake tribe by trading elixirs was scrapped, he couldn't help but feel a little pity. After all, this medicine cauldron has been with him for so long, and he has some feelings for it. Lin Feng, now that your medicine cauldron is broken, can you still make medicine? At this time, Ziyan also landed from the sky and said a little embarrassedly, she was mostly responsible for the damage to the medicine cauldron. It's okay, I still have one. After saying that, Lin Feng took out a 4-mouth medicine cauldron he got from Gyut. That's good. Seeing the medicine cauldron, Ziyan patted her tablet and breathed a sigh of relief. At this time, Lin Feng suddenly thought that when Ziyan fought with him before, she did not use any fighting skills, so he asked, why didn't I see you using fighting skills during the previous battle? Hearing this, Ziyan's pink and jade-like face instantly became depressed. She lowered her head in disappointment and said, no one will teach me. Lin Feng was a little confused when he heard it, but after thinking for a moment, he figured it out. In Canaan College, the person who has the best relationship with Ziyan is probably the elder Su Qianda who brought her back, but Su Qian needs to manage such a large academy, so he definitely doesn't have time to pay too much attention to Ziyan's training. What's more, no one in the academy can bully Ziyan, and the great elder definitely doesn't care about practicing fighting skills. As for the others, Ziyan was not very familiar with them, so naturally no one would care about her practice. Thinking that this was a great opportunity to build a good relationship with Ziyan, Lin Feng quickly asked her, what kind of fighting skills do you like? After I am completely familiar with your current strength, I will teach you some, so we can come and practice. When Ziyan heard this, she raised her little head, waved her fists a few times, and then said, I like to hit people with my fists, and that's boxing. Lin Feng thought for a moment and realized that he had Mo Cheng's Xian-level high-level Kaishan fist in his hand, and Hai Buodong's Neiji also contains several volumes of Xian-level and mid-level boxing techniques. Although they are not too strong, Ziyan can only use them first, and then see if she can find more advanced fighting skills. After all, he himself doesn't have a roll of Earth-level fighting skills. Let alone sending Ziyan as a gift, he immediately took out a few scrolls and said, "Here is a scroll of high-level Xian-level boxing techniques and a scroll of intermediate-level Xian-level boxing techniques. You can read them by yourself for a while, and then I will teach you." After saying that, with a flick of his finger, the two scrolls flew towards Ziyan. "Ah, why is the level so low? I saw those old men using Earth level." Ziyan hugged the scroll, flipped through it a few times, and couldn't help complaining. Feng twitched his lips and said angrily, "I still want the Earth level. You can use it first. There will be an auction in 2 months. I will take you there to see if there are any suitable fighting skills." "Auction? There must be a lot of good things there. I want to go." Ziyan muttered the term, and then quickly agreed. She is so old and has never been to that kind of place, so she is naturally curious about it. Feng nodded and said, "Okay, I will refine the medicine now, and you will be responsible for defense. After that, I will give you all the pills I will refine." "No problem." More than a month later, taking a deep breath, Feng waved his hand, and a thick purple fire instantly poured into the medicine cauldron. Then he took out a few medicinal herbs from the Neji, and dropped one into it from time to time, keeping a close eye on the changes with his soul perception. After such repeated actions, after a while, dozens of medicinal materials have been put into the medicine cauldron. In the raging purple fire package, dozens of cyan medicinal essences are suspended in it. The next step is to fuse. Whether you can successfully advance to the 5th level of alchemist depends on this time. Feng murmured softly while looking at the medicinal liquids of different colors in the medicine cauldron. After saying that, the soul power quickly divided into 2 streams and poured into the medicine cauldron. One stream tightly suppressed the flames, while the other stream wrapped the liquid medicine in like lightning, and then suddenly erupted with extremely powerful compression force. As if feeling the compression force from the surroundings, the cyan liquid suddenly fluctuated violently, and with every fluctuation of it, extremely powerful energy ripples will burst out from it, and finally collide with the invisible hand formed by the soul power. "Oh!" With the violent energy collision, the medicine cauldron in front of Feng suddenly trembled slightly, and a crisp collision sound came from inside. As the medicine cauldron trembled, tiny bulges began to appear on its surface. Looking at the slightly deformed medicine cauldron, Feng's expression changed slightly, and he suddenly gave the palm of the medicine cauldron a firm grip forward from the air. It looked like he was about to crush the air in front of him. As Feng's palm clenched tightly, the violently churning liquid in the medicine cauldron suddenly stagnated, and the power of the invisible big hand formed by the surrounding soul power surged in an instant. The originally large ball of liquid medicine was now only the size of a table tennis ball, but when it shrunk to this point, it fell into fierce resistance and refused to enter the final step no matter what. Seeing how fierce the resistance of the medicinal liquid was, Feng exhaled slightly. "Give me the pill." As the shout fell, the soul power in the medicine cauldron suddenly surged again. As Feng's palm clenched tightly again, the medicinal liquid in the medicine cauldron, which was only the size of a table tennis ball, trembled violently, and then rapidly shrunk at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a blink of an eye, the medicinal solution was gone, replaced by a thumb-sized blue pill prototype. As the elixir takes shape, the most difficult step has been passed. Feng also breathed a sigh of relief, suppressing the purple flame. At the same time, it also began to slowly release the blazing temperature, baking the prototype of the elixir with different rules. Under the heat of the flames, a strange-shaped young pill is slowly becoming rounded. Chapter 97 Auction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, under the constant tempering of the purple flames, a round light cyan elixir gradually revealed its shape. However, at the moment when the elixir took shape, strong energy shock suddenly hit the medicine cauldron. Under such impact, the deformation of the medicine cauldron became more and more obvious. When Feng saw this, his face showed helplessness. Although this four-mouth medicine cauldron could also refine 5th-grade elixirs, it always held him back. I secretly made up my mind to replace this junk thing in a few days. Looking at the gradually silencing energy impact, Feng waved his hand. and the pill fell steadily into his hand. Seeing the 5th grade Fengxing Dan in the palm of his hand, a hint of joy could not help but appear on his face. The effect of this Fengxing Dan is to increase the speed of the person who takes it in a short period of time. It is very useful in fighting and escaping. It can also be regarded as a highly practical elixir. However, he was able to advance to the 5th level alchemist so quickly, thanks to the inheritance of those 5th level alchemists that Frank gave him. Since those inheritances were used by their teachers for their apprentices, the points to note when refining 5th grade elixirs were very clearly explained above. As well as a large number of detailed explanations of 5th grade elixirs, including the key points of heat, flame switching, etc. If it weren't for the help of these things, he might have spent 3 to 5 months just experimenting with the key points of the 5th grade elixir. If you want to refine it, it won't take half a year, so don't even think about it. Oh yeah, it finally worked. Ziyan on the side jumped up excitedly when she saw the elixir coming out. That look was even more exciting than Lin Feng's success. When Xiaokai saw her friend say this, she hurriedly stood up to express her agreement. Lin Feng looked at the 2 excited little guys in front of him, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch slightly. Ever since Xiaokai woke up more than half a month ago, the 2 little ones have quickly become good friends, and they work together to bully the surrounding monsters into misery. The large amount of medicinal materials snatched back also greatly increased his workload, but he had promised Ziyan before, so he had no choice but to refine it for them. However, instead of refining elixirs like normal, various medicinal materials were roughly mixed together to form some simple elixirs. If this kind of pill is taken by humans, unless it is a person with extraordinary strength, there is a high probability that the body will explode and die due to the violent and unneutralized power of the medicine inside, but these 2 little guys are extremely strong, so they don't worry about this at all. In addition, Lin Feng put some licorice in it when refining it, which gave it a sweet taste, so they ate it like crazy. However, when he was refining, he would confiscate the medicinal materials he needed when he saw them. By the way, Ziyan, I asked you to help get the beast fire. Have you got it now? That at this time, Lin Feng suddenly remembered that he had given Ziyan some elixirs a few days ago and asked her to help trade beast fire. While putting away the elixirs, he asked. Hearing this, the latter threw the pills in his hand into the air, then opened his mouth and waited until the pills entered his mouth, then took out several jade bottles from Neji and threw them at Lin Feng. After swallowing the remaining pills in the jade bottle, Ziyan said incoherently, I have learned the earth-level fighting skills from the old man Su Qian. I will go to the Black Emperor sex auction in a few days. I will beat anyone to death whoever dares to rob him. For more than a month, Lin Feng guided her to learn several Huangji boxing techniques. After having these experiences in learning fighting skills, she pestered the old man Su Qian to ask for fighting skills every day. She even went to the scripture collection pavilion of Canaan College several times to get it. Unfortunately, she was discovered every time and was sent back to Su Qian by the 2 old men, and Su Qian really couldn't stand Ziyan's tossing, so he tried to get her a volume of low-level boxing skills, which made the latter calm down. However, Su Qian had told her not to spread her fighting skills to others. Otherwise, she would have exchanged them with Lin Feng for elixirs. After hearing Ziyan's words, Lin Feng smiled softly and said immediately, It's okay, we 3 fighting kings, no one can steal our things. As he said that, he looked at the somewhat deformed medicine cauldron in front of him, took out a few pieces of beast fire, and began to refine the 3-line green spirit pill. This elixir is very popular in the market, and at the auction, there will definitely be a large number of people who like this elixir. Ziyan, come and put it on, the auction is tomorrow, we should go there. Lin Feng put on his black robe, threw one toward Ziyan beside him, and then said. The latter looked at the clothes in his hands with a little disgust. His little face was full of depression, and he asked in confusion, Why do we wear such ugly things? We 2 such young fighting kings are afraid of attracting the attention of some strong men, so please be patient. Lin Feng put Xiaokai into his sleeve and replied casually, but then remembered what she had done, and warned, There are many masters in Black Emperor City, you are not allowed to steal other people's medicinal materials. TCH, got it. Ziyan snorted in dissatisfaction, then nodded her head helplessly. Then the light flashed slightly behind the 2 of them, and they spread their fighting wings and flew towards the direction of Black Imperial City. The next day, Lin Feng and Ziyan came to the city. Looking at the almost endless flow of people, Lin Feng could only shake his head and headed to the auction location in the center of the city. When Lin Feng and others arrived at the auction venue, they looked at the crowded scene in front of them and were speechless. Only by using fighting spirit to drive away some low-level people can we reach the door of the auction house. The two walked through the softly lit passage. After a few minutes, the view ahead suddenly became wider. Immediately, a giant auction house appeared in Lin Feng's sight. At this moment, the huge auction house was already filled with many people, so all kinds of voices gathered together, making it sound a little noisy. Is this an auction? There are so many people. Ziyan came to this kind of place for the first time. She quickly looked around and sighed when she saw the black heads. Let's go. Lin Feng held the seat card that he had just shown off his Dou Wang strength and said to Ziyan, who was looking around curiously. Ziyan nodded, and then the two of them looked for their seats. After the two sat down at the front seats of the venue, Lin Feng shrank his body into the soft chair, but his eyes slowly swept over some VIP seats in front. There were a lot of people sitting there at this time, and it seemed that they were all representatives sent by some forces. However, the one who can sit there is the one with the lowest strength. A one-star Dou Huang, otherwise, the Black Emperor sect will not allow you to sit on it. Since the time was not yet up, Lin Feng closed his eyes slightly and began to rest and wait for the auction to begin. As time went by, a huge flow of people continued to pour into the auction house. There are more and more people on the seats at the auction. After staying for half an hour, almost all the seats were occupied. After waiting for so long, Ziyan was already a little impatient and was holding the jade bottle and pouring it into her mouth. He looked like a drunkard holding a wine bottle. Clang! At this moment, a clear chime of a bell suddenly sounded in the center of the auction house. Immediately, the shaking spread throughout the entire venue, suppressing the noisy noise. The chime of the bell slowly fell, and on the auction stage, a circle of energy slowly extended upwards, and finally sealed the auction stage like a prison. This is a protective measure. Most people in the Black Corner region are lawless. Robbery of auction items has never happened. Although the Black Emperor sect is not an ordinary force, it is still best to be careful. If the auction items are snatched away in public, the Black Emperor sect will not have the face to hang around in the Black Corner territory. As the energy aperture extended upward, the floor of the auction platform slowly cracked amidst a deep sound of metal shafts rubbing together. A staircase extending into the ground appeared in front of the eyes of countless people in the auction house. The stairs appeared, and immediately an old man in a golden robe walked out slowly with a smile on his face. As soon as this person appeared, a majestic aura slowly swept out of his body. Under this terrifying momentum, the noise in the huge auction house also became silent. What a terrifying momentum! Lin Feng looked at the slightly twisted space beside the old man, and a trace of yearning could not help but appear on his face. Influencing space is something that only Dozong and above can do. Well, this person feels stronger than that old man. Ziyan on the side also put away the medicine bottle and looked solemnly at the stage. I am Mtlnovel. I believe that many of my friends know me. Today is the day when our Black Emperor sect holds an auction held every 6 years. I would like to thank you all for your support. Mtlnovel appeared, his eyes slowly scanning the surroundings, and his laughter resounded in the ears of everyone in the venue. Seeing this Dozong strongman appear, most people in the venue quickly agreed and replied with a smile. Seeing this scene, the smile on Mtlnovel's face became a little deeper, and he immediately continued, but I would also like to remind you that everyone must know the rules of the auction. If there is anything that doesn't open your eyes, if someone wants to run wild on the territory of my Black Emperor sect, I will say a harsh word in front of so many people, and I will definitely make them live and die. Under Mtlnovel's cold words, the huge auction house fell silent. Even some extremely vicious people's expressions changed slightly when they looked at Mtlnovel's emotionless eyes, and then they quietly restrained some strange thoughts, looking at the powerful Mtlnovel. On the stage, Lin Feng couldn't help but think of Medusa. If it were her, she would probably be able to achieve the scene in front of her. Next, please enjoy my Black Emperor sect's auction feast. Seeing that the shock effect had been achieved, Mtlnovel said with a smile, and the seriousness in his eyes disappeared in an instant. As he finished speaking, he slowly exited the auction stage. Chapter 98 Level 7 Beast Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 98 7th Level Beast Fire. ASMO Tianqing withdrew, the floor of the auction platform cracked open again, and several passages emerged. An old man with white hair but full of energy walked out with a smile. Behind him, a group of beautiful maids held silver plates in their hands, shuttled around the stage like butterflies, and then placed the silver plates respectfully on the auction stone platform. Since the audience's seats were higher than the stage, everyone could see that the silver plates contained some objects that shone faintly. Next is the first item in our auction, the water attribute Xian level intermediate skill, the sea killing skill. After saying that, the old man pointed to a silver plate in front of him with a smile. In the silver plate, there was a sea blue scroll. After introducing the things, the old man looked at everyone and said with a smile, "If you are interested, you can bid now." Although some powerful people look down on this technique, it is still very attractive to some people who are not very powerful. Therefore, as soon as the old man's words were heard, the shouts of bidding suddenly rang out in the huge auction house. As for Lin Feng and Ziyan, they naturally despised this thing and just waited quietly. Even if the other party is a powerful Dou Huang, it doesn't matter. He must be revenged for assassinating him. After all, when the realm is low, the increase in powerful alien fire is still considerable. However, Lin Feng sneered in his heart when he felt several fiery gazes falling on him. Finally, this volume of skills was photographed by a fighting spirit. It seemed that it should be given to the younger generation for training. Seeing this, the corners of the old man's mouth quickly raised, and he continued to introduce, Shou Wang jelly. This kind of item is born in the depths of the earth. It usually absorbs nutrients from the roots of various precious medicinal materials to strengthen itself. Due to repeated tempering by the earth for countless years, the medicinal power absorbed from it is continuously purified, making this longevity royal jelly have the effect of prolonging life. The alchemist named Old Man Wang was naturally unwilling to admit defeat and shouted immediately. However, he is still very interested in this beast fire, because in his hands, he has the secret method of the 3 mysterious transformations of sky fire, which relies on flames to enhance combat power. Seeing this, the auctioneer on the stage repeated Lin Feng's price, indicating that he accepted this method of paying for the magic core. Seeing Lin Feng looking aside, Ziyan couldn't help but remind him, "When I see these powerful physical flames, I naturally want to get them." The old man cleared his throat and said immediately, "Everyone, this is the beast fire of a 7th level magic beast, the blazing one-horned lizard." Seeing that the weapon was successfully photographed, Ziyan's fair and tender face also smiled a little more. "Hey, Old Man Wang, you can't do it. I'll offer you 1.5 million. Upon hearing Lin Feng's bid, many people in the auction venue also looked towards the former's location. "Lin Feng, don't you want this thing? Why don't you raise the price yet?" Lin Feng also bought several 6th-grade medicinal plants for Ziyan, which made the latter smile from ear to ear and said that the trip was worth it. After the maid carried the jade box down, the old man also picked up a huge transparent jade bottle. After a pause, the old man glanced around at the alchemists he recognized, and continued, "Especially for all the alchemists, if you can take a picture of this flame, you may be able to reach a higher level in refining alchemy. Steps, and now the starting price of the 7th level beast fire is only 1 million gold coins. Of course, priority will be given to those who can barter, but now that he has met him, after the auction is over, he will investigate the origin of the dark attribute Dou Huang." Even though many people knew about this kind of item in advance, they still couldn't help but feel a little moved when they saw the real thing on site. At this time, the auction venue was extremely popular. Of course, if your family is very powerful, you can force some powerful alien fire into the bodies of your less powerful descendants. Otherwise, even if it absorbs the strange fire, it will only cross 1 or 2 small levels at most. Hearing Lin Feng's decisiveness, Yuan Yi thought of the pill at the back and had to look at the former with hatred before giving up. Seeing that he was facing off against his suspected enemy, Lin Feng naturally refused to be outdone. 3 million and 2 million plus a 5th level magic core. Even a force as powerful as the Black Emperor sect would definitely have to pay a heavy price. After all, although this thing can extend your lifespan by 2 or 3 years, after reaching a certain level, you can't break through, and you still can't break through after another 2 or 3 years. After this continued for several hours, the auction was approaching the second half. And the items on the stage also attracted some strong people to start bidding. Bastard! Hearing the price, the man in black in the VIP seat who had made the bid before was stunned for a moment, and then shouted, 3.5 million. Hearing this, Feng also came to his senses. When he saw that the price had reached 3 million, he immediately shouted, 3,200,000, that the end result may be a waste of money. At the same time, he silently remembered this man in black. He had been busy before and had no time to find these people. As for the other people in the VIP seats, they had no intention of bidding. Okay, since everyone can't wait any longer, I won't delay any longer. The starting price for longevity royal jelly is 800,000 gold coins. Seeing the other party increasing the price, Feng said without hesitation. This guest bids 3.2 million plus a 5th level magic core. Is there any other bidder? That he has 3 fighting kings here who dare to snatch them, and he doesn't mind teaching them how to behave. Feeling the aura emanating from that person unintentionally, Feng realized that his enemy seemed to be in the auction venue, and he was a little surprised, and this seemed to be the beginning. As the two raised their bids, more and more alchemists and fire attribute experts joined the competition. Everyone must be aware of the power of 7th level monsters. Even we spent a lot of money to get this beast fire from a monster that is comparable to a strong Dozome warrior, but at this level the flames are of great help whether used to refine medicine or to fight enemies. Seeing that no one had any intention of bidding anymore, the old man also happily dropped the wooden hammer. Taking advantage of the excitement, the white-haired auctioneer also moved out other auction objects one after another. Before the old man on the stage finished speaking, a man below immediately shouted loudly. Hey! The aura on that person is a bit similar to the fighting spirit that attacked me more than 2 months ago. Are they from the same group? After all, the original grudge cannot be let go just like this. Therefore, compared to the earth-level intermediate skills that can be passed down from generation to generation, Huangji is insignificant. The man in front just made a quotation, and a man in black at the VIP table shouted. 3 million and 2 million plus 2 5th-level magic cores. Feng twitched his lips. Although this 7th level beast fire was very good, it was definitely not as powerful as the auctioneer described. Listening to the old man's introduction, some impatient people at the VIP table urged. 1 million. The bidding outside the venue continued, and after a while, it exceeded the 3 million mark. Because the magic core is a best-selling product, there is no need to worry about not being able to sell it, and most people are willing to accept it in exchange for money. Unless you have some special fighting skills, you can rely on these physical flames to greatly enhance your combat effectiveness. Feng was also relieved when he saw that he had successfully photographed the item. 1.2 million. Seeing this level of flame, a 4th level alchemist immediately stood up and shouted. 1.2 million. Among them, a red animal fire was burning. If he hadn't had thoughts about Canaan College's fallen heart fire, he would have absorbed the green lotus heart fire long ago. Cough cough. Having said this, the old man paused for a moment and felt countless pairs of eyes below focusing on the jade box in his hand, especially the eyes of those in the VIP seats. The smile on his face slowly retracted, and he said with a somewhat solemn expression, Everyone, the following item is an extremely rare treasure of heaven and earth that can prolong life. At this time, the price has reached more than 4 million gold coins, and it is still rising, with no intention of stopping at all. Just like Gu Suner, it is possible to kill enemies across large classes. A thin old man who seemed to know the former stood up and mocked. Shou Wangjiel, 3.2 million plus 2 5th-level magic cores, deal. You bastard. I offer 1.8 million. But so far, Feng has only raised the price once and helped Ziyan buy a pretty good glove as her weapon. Stop inking and make an offer. It seems that this time, the Black Emperor's sect will indeed make a lot of money from this auction. After this good start, the atmosphere in the auction house was gradually aroused. Finally, an old man in grey robe shouted 5 million gold coins, suppressing the price of others. However, after seeing the seats that only those with Dou Wang's strength could have, most people chose to retract their gazes. Since this 7th level beast fire attracted many alchemists, who were not short of money. The price of this beast fire suddenly skyrocketed. The 7th level monster, which is equivalent to the level of a human Dou Zong, wants to get a beast fire seed from its hands. These auction items, relying on their excellent quality and the inspiring praise of the white-haired old man, all sold for a good price. After a lot was auctioned off, the auctioneer immediately took out a jade box as big as his head. Yuan Yi, who was dressed in black, saw that a fighting king dared to snatch this thing from him. He couldn't help but curse a few times in his heart. He was silent for a long time, then gritted his teeth and shouted, 4.5 million. After a long time, the man couldn't help but feel happy when he saw that no one was calling out the price anymore. Although his alchemy refining skills are at the 5th level, he is still some way away from refining the 5th level peak elixir. If he gets this beast fire, he might be able to take a step further in refining medicine and refine the 5th grade peak elixir, Dou Ling Dan. With the help of this kind of elixir that the powerful Dou Wang dreams of, his status in the Black Angle domain will skyrocket again. Chapter 99 Huangji Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this time, Feng also opened his mouth to join the competition, for 3-line green spirit pills plus a 5th level magic core. Upon hearing Feng's bid, most of the people in the audience, excluding the VIP seats, were a little surprised and looked at Feng again. You must know that the 3-pattern Qingling pill, which can enhance the strength of the 3 levels of Dou Shi, Great Dou Master, and Dou Ling, is more valuable than some 5th grade elixirs. Moreover, most forces will choose to give it to their own subordinates or juniors, and very few will be released. Now this mysterious fighting king actually took out 4 pills at once. It was hard not to doubt whether this person was an alchemist. When the old man heard this, he naturally knew who was more precious, the 5 million gold coins or Feng's things. He immediately said with a smile, "We are willing to set the price of this customer to the highest price currently. Is there any other customer who wants to bid?" That when the man in grey robe saw the beast fire he was about to get and ran away like this, his mood suddenly became bad. As a person who has been in the black corner territory all year round, it is natural that his temper cannot be too good. Seeing someone snatching something from him, a murderous intent quickly flashed through his eyes. After thinking for a moment, the man in grey robe still felt that it would be safer to capture the beast fire, so he shouted, 3 5th grade wound-removing pills plus 5 million gold coins. Seeing this, the old man on the stage replaced Feng's price and set the price of the man in grey robe to the highest. For 3-pattern Qingling pills plus 3 5th level magic cores. Feng didn't hesitate at all and directly increased the price again. Anyway, he has about 25th level magic cores in his hand, and they were all obtained by grabbing them, so naturally he won't feel distressed when using them. Others in the audience twitched their lips. This guy, with the things he bought before, plus this time, seems to have taken out 8 or 9 level 5 magic cores. Where did he get so many high-level magic cores? Does his family own a magic core shop? After the old man on the stage saw Feng's generosity, he naturally smiled and put the former's price at the highest level again. Although the man in grey robe took out a 5th grade elixir, at first glance, the 5th grade elixir seemed to be much more valuable than the 4th grade. In fact, this is not the case. The level of the elixir is only part of the evaluation of the value of the elixir. More, it depends on the specific function of the elixir. On the Dou Qi Continent, we believe in strength first. Therefore, the most popular ones are pills that enhance strength. Secondly, there are elixirs that can help with breakthroughs, such as those that increase the success rate of advancement and stabilize one's rank. After that, there are elixirs for healing and restoring fighting spirit. This kind of elixir can give you an extra chance of surviving when fighting an enemy. Therefore, it is also quite popular in the market. As for some other elixirs with partial medicinal effects, their value is the lowest among the same level. Because of this elixir, unless you can find a suitable buyer, otherwise, no one will use it. The scope of application is too narrow, and the value will naturally not be high. Although the injury-removing pill is a 5th grade pill, in terms of value, it is not necessarily as good as the 3 patterns green spirit pill. What's more, Feng's price also includes the existence of 3 5th level magic cores. Seeing the price shouted by Feng, the man in grey robe also frowned. As a 5th grade alchemist, he will naturally not be short of money, but coincidentally, he bought a volume of Earth-level fighting skills at the auction in Black Seal City a few months ago. In order to match this fighting skill, he went through some searching and finally bought another volume of Earth-level skills. In order to buy these two items, he spent almost all his family property, and now he naturally has nothing of value. As for those prescriptions, they must not be squandered. Those are his lifeblood. After hesitating for a moment, the grey-robed alchemist finally decided to give up the bidding, looking at the 8-star fighting king invited next to him, and then thinking about his own 7-star fighting king's strength and Earth-level fighting skills, he sneered in his heart and decided to get it for free later. By the way, there is also the recipe for the 3-marked Qingling pill, which is also included in the bag. When the old man on the stage saw that no one was bidding, he hit the wooden hammer in his hand on the table in front of him and announced, "Congratulations to this guest, for 3 patterned Qingling pills plus 3 5th-level magic pills. Nuclear, deal." After that, the old man carefully took out a small jade box, opened it gently, and immediately introduced, "This elixir is the Emperor's pill, which can be called the 6th-grade pinnacle elixir. Its effect is to make Dou Huang a strong person can be promoted to a level ranging from 1 star to 2 stars, and the remaining medicinal power can also help temper the muscles and bones and improve combat effectiveness. There is no reserve price, everyone, please bid." What was surprising this time was that the auctioneer did not introduce the auction items as seriously as before, but simply said a few words and let the audience start bidding. Lin Feng thought for a moment and understood, if this thing is useful, you just need to name it, and others will buy it at a great price. If you don't have any use for it, no matter how much you talk about it, it's useless. The previous longevity royal jelly and 7th-level beast fire might be able to attract some strong men and alchemists who are nearing the end of their lifespan, but except for the strong fighting emperor, who would take it? Lin Feng glanced at Ziyan, who had bright eyes next to him, and hurriedly reminded him in a low voice, "Don't act recklessly. There are Dou Zong and Dou Huang on the opposite side, and our small bodies cannot support it." Thorn slip. Ziyan glanced at the emperor's pill below with greedy eyes, then wiped the saliva from the corner of her mouth and said angrily, "Okay, I understand." After saying that, a pair of lilac eyes turned slightly, and then encouraged, "Lin Feng, how about we wait for others to take the photo and then grab it? After we get it, I will help you go back to the academy and get a lot of medicinal materials for free. By the way, how about I also help you get a few volumes of 5th-grade prescriptions from Old Man House Prescription Management Library." As for the fact that she was from Canaan College, she had already told Lin Feng a month ago. After all, there was nothing to hide, so it didn't matter if he told the latter. Lin Feng refused directly, "No." When Ziyan heard this, the smile at the corner of her mouth disappeared instantly, and she asked in confusion, "Why? Don't you really want the 5th-grade prescription? You are stupid. Those who will participate in the bidding for this elixir are basically Dou Huang. Moreover, after the auction is over, those Dou Huang will most likely have a fight. Our 2 young Dou Huangs participate in it. Isn't this courting death?" Lin Feng gently patted her little head with his palm and said angrily, "Well, it seems to make sense." When she heard that she had no chance to get the extremely powerful pill in front of her, Ziyan had no choice but to lower her head in disappointment and kick the tiles on the ground with her little feet. Seeing her aggrieved look, Lin Feng touched her little head and comforted her, "When I reach the level of alchemist, I will use that thing as beans for you to eat." Hearing this, Ziyan raised her head, "It's true, don't lie to me. When have I ever lied to you?" "Right." At this time, the VIP seats in front were just as Lin Feng guessed. They did not pay attention to the verbal introductions, but were instantly detonated by the name Huangji Dan. The expressions of those powerful Dou Huang warriors who had no desires before were now more fanatical than the last. After all, whoever can buy this elixir will be guaranteed to increase his strength by 1 star, plus a chance to temper his muscles and bones. If you're lucky, you might even be able to improve it by 2 stars. But don't underestimate these 2 stars. You must know that if they are allowed to practice normally, it may take decades to improve these 2 small stars, and this pill, in just a few days, can save them the time of hard training and improve them instantly. Moreover, the increase in strength means that they can gain more territory and greater benefits in the Black Angle territory, and more resources can speed up their cultivation, thus forming a virtuous cycle. Therefore, under this fanatical mood, the price of Huangji pill also rose. Rapidly, in just a short moment, the price has reached a high price of 7 million gold coins, but it has no intention of stopping and continues to increase. Feng just watched this scene quietly and had no intention of joining the competition, putting aside whether he can afford it or not. That thing is useless to him now. If you buy it, you may be robbed by a group of fighting emperors after the auction, so you might as well save some money and buy other useful ones. In the end, this Huangji pill was bought by a representative of a force at the VIP table. However, because Feng was not familiar with all the forces in the Black Corner region, he could not identify which force those people belonged to, and the man in black, who was suspected of having a grudge against him, was the first to start bidding. But Feng was fortunate that the man in black was still a little worse in the end, and could only watch helplessly as the elixir was bought by others. And with the Huangji pill being bought, the auction also reached its final moments. The auction that was brought up this time was the final volume of Earth-level intermediate skills with no attribute restrictions. However, Feng just watched quietly the whole time. After all, this thing was not within his reach now. Of course, if he was willing to sacrifice an opportunity for Medusa to take action, he might still be able to grab it. However, he couldn't waste the opportunity like this. After all, Medusa only had 2 chances to take action, and he had to use them at critical moments. For example, when he saw the life-devouring pill, he was planning to snatch the fallen heart flame and seize Han Feng's family property. No matter which one of these 2 things, the value is much greater than that volume of Earth-level intermediate skills. Needless to say, the fallen heart flame is the 14th strange fire in the ranking of strange fires. It is something that even the strong Dou Zun covets. As for Han Feng, even though that guy is just a 6th-grade alchemist, he was a disciple of Yao Qin before. When the United Soul Palace plotted to murder his teacher Yao Qin decades ago, the latter's Neji fell into his hands. Although most of the good things were kept by Yao Qin in the ring where he lived, Han Feng was unable to get them. But the remaining things should not be underestimated. After all, that was the collection of Yao Qin, the #1 alchemist in Dou Qi Continent. At least, Feng felt in his heart that Han Feng's net worth might even be beyond the reach of many 7th-level alchemists. Not to mention, he also had the 10,000 beast cauldron that was ranked 13th on the cauldron list that day. Chapter 100 Intelligence. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, by the way, just like the strange fire list, in the world of medicine refining, there is also a heavenly cauldron list. As the name suggests, what is recorded in the cauldron list are those extremely perfect and outstanding medicinal cauldrons. There are 13 cauldrons in the cauldron list, and each of these medicinal cauldrons has a magical power that makes countless alchemists flock to them. If the alchemists were asked to choose between these 2 items, the medicine cauldron and the strange fire, I believe that a considerable number of alchemists would choose the medicine cauldron, because this medicine cauldron, like the strange fire, can increase the chance of success in refining medicine, but absorbing strange fires is life-threatening. But the medicinal cauldrons in the Tianding list do not need to be absorbed. They can be used immediately, without risk, and can be passed down from generation to generation. In this case, some prudent alchemists will naturally choose the medicine cauldron and abandon the strange fire. Ahem. Come back. Han Feng still has the technique practiced by the ancient Emperor Tuasha, which is the burning technique. He was very greedy for that skill. After all, anyone who practices burning technique can directly absorb powerful real fire to upgrade. This upgrade is not just an increase in the level of the technique, the cultivator's fighting spirit level will also increase accordingly, and, most importantly, this improvement has no side effects. Although Han Feng only has half of it in his hands, he has no way to get the complete version in Xiaoyan's hands now, so he can only settle for the next best thing and get half of it first. As for how to get it, he already had a plan in his mind after he advanced to Dou Wang. While Feng was thinking, the Earth-level intermediate skills on the stage had been purchased by a black-robed man at the VIP table. I would like to thank everyone again for supporting me. This auction is over. Customers who have already bought the items can go to the counter on the left to collect them. Friends who did not get the items they wanted, don't be disappointed. There is a door on the right side of the door. In the hall, there will be a free trading meeting after the auction. You can go there to trade on your own. If you need to set up a stall, we only charge a handling fee of 2% of the transaction. At this time, the old man on the stage said to everyone in the audience with a smile. This Black Emperor sect really won't stop until it sucks everything out of people. After hearing this, Lin Feng figured out what was going on. There are always people who don't get the items they want in this auction, but after preparing for the auction for so long, the things they have must not be too bad. The Black Emperor sect used this free trading conference to let those people spend all their unspent money. Lin Feng, how about we go take a look? That when Ziyan heard this, she couldn't hold back her curiosity and said to Lin Feng with bright eyes. Okay, let's go see some trading conference. Seeing Ziyan's longing eyes, she agreed. Yeah. Let's go. After saying that, he couldn't wait to hold Lin Feng's hand and walked out. Hey, let's get the auction items first before we go. After getting the 7th level Beast Fire and Longevity Royal Jelly, as well as Ziyan's gloves and some medicinal materials, he took her to wander around the trading area. Arriving here, Lin Feng glanced around the hall. The area here was very wide. On the ground, there is a red carpet, and there are many wooden tables placed in the hall. There were already people standing behind many wooden tables, and there were some items placed on the wooden tables in front of them. It seems that those people are preparing to sell some items here. Since Lin Feng and the two arrived relatively late, there were already a lot of people here. At a glance, they were all heads. After taking Ziyan to wander around here for a while, Lin Feng found that the quality of the things here was pretty good, and most of the people setting up the stalls were people who had participated in the auction before. After passing some stalls, Lin Feng suddenly saw many people crowded together in front of him. Through the gap between the crowd, he found that the wooden table in front of the man inside was empty, but at this time, the wooden table in front of him was already surrounded by people, who seemed to be asking something. Come on, let's go up and have a look. Seeing that strange scene, Lin Feng said to Ziyan beside him. It is good. Ziyan nodded and quickly followed Lin Feng. When he came to the vendor, Lin Feng looked at the 4 characters information trading written on the wooden table, and then he understood. The middle-aged man in front of him, as thin as a monkey, is an intelligence dealer. At this time, he seemed to have reached a deal with someone else. The two of them closed their sleeves and handed over something unknown. Seeing that the thin middle-aged man had finished his transaction with others, Lin Feng stepped forward and said softly, I want detailed information about all the forces in the Black Corner region that have powerful Douang warriors. Do you have any? Have. The thin man glanced at Lin Feng, who was completely hidden under a black burqa, and immediately replied. Hearing this, Lin Feng felt a little happy on his face and asked again, the price. 300,000 gold coins, or items of equal value. After hearing his answer, Lin Feng threw a jade bottle onto the table. The man picked it up and took a look. When he saw that it was a 4th-grade elixir, his face showed joy and he immediately stretched out his sleeves. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, and then he stretched out his sleeves to face him. After the forearms of both of them were hidden, Lin Feng only felt a scroll being stuffed in, so he grabbed it and put it away. After the man saw Lin Feng put away his things, he quickly broke away from the contact. Let's go. Seeing that he got what he wanted in the transaction, Lin Feng turned to Ziyan beside him and said, as for whether you will buy fake things, don't worry too much about this. If this person dares to set up a stall here, it means that his information is basically accurate. Otherwise, in this Black Corner territory, one might end up with his body and head missing as soon as he leaves the gate of the Black Emperor sect's auction house. Ah. Afterwards, Lin Feng and Ziyan walked out of the Black Emperor sect's auction house after buying some medicinal materials. Feeling the 2 people who had been following him behind him, Lin Feng said to Ziyan, let's not go back yet. Let's find an inn to stay for now. Is it because of the people behind you? Ziyan also felt someone following her and asked in a low voice. Ah. Lin Feng nodded, stopped talking, and walked straight to the inn nearby, preparing to absorb the 7th level beast fire before going back. With his current strength as a 2-star fighting king, if he absorbs that beast fire, coupled with that terrifying speed, even against high-level fighting kings, he still won't be cowed. What's more, he also has the help of 2 teammates. When he arrived at the inn, Lin Feng did not read the information or absorb the beast fire. Instead, he first investigated the Neji who had attacked his fighting spirit before. He was busy with promotion to the fighting king and improving his medicine refining skills, and he never had time to check this ring. When he saw the Dou Huang today, he immediately remembered it and naturally wanted to check it out and look for some clues. After searching for a while, Feng found that there were some relatively ordinary items inside, and he no longer looked down upon those items. The only two things that interested him were a volume of Xian-level intermediate dark attribute techniques and a volume of Xian-level advanced concealment techniques called Breathless. Although this dark attribute technique is only at the intermediate level of Xian level, this type of technique is relatively rare. Things are rare and valuable, and their value is already comparable to some high-level Xian-level items with common attributes. As for the secret technique of concealment, Feng liked it even more. With this thing, it is an excellent helper whether it is escaping or making a sneak attack. Although their non-dark attribute monks are not as strong as those with dark attributes, they are still better than nothing. After reading the Neji, Feng picked up the volume of information he bought and read it carefully, looking for information about the dark attribute Dou Huang. As for why we don't just buy the information about all the dark attribute fighting emperors in the Black Corner domain, it's because we're worried about alerting others. After all, he didn't know whether the information dealer would reveal the news to the other party. This makes it significantly more difficult for him to seek revenge. After searching for a long time, Feng finally focused on the information on the 8 doors. In the introduction below their sect leader, the words dark attribute were clearly written. Is this Yuan Yi also a dark attribute? In fact, he had already had doubts about the 8 doors. He had just entered the Black Corner territory at that time and had never had any enmity with any force. What's more, before being attacked, he had just bought a 5th-level beast fire from the Black Seal City auction house, which made it difficult for people to focus on them. After coming back to his senses, Feng continued to look at the information in his hand. Feng had already identified the murderer after seeing that Yuan Yi had used a volume of Xian-level advanced concealment technique called Breathless when he was in the king fighting stage. After all, that fighting spirit shouldn't be able to steal fighting skills from a fighting emperor. 2-star Dou Huang, but since you chose to kill me, don't blame me for choosing to kill you instead. Touching the information in his hand, Feng murmured softly. Feng, is this the guy who attacked you secretly? At this time, Ziyan also came forward curiously. Feng had already told her about the sneak attack, and she naturally knew about it. Correct. Feng glanced at another dark attribute force, Yin Bone Tomb. However, except for the dark attribute, all the conditions were not met. When the time comes, call me and I'll help him. Ziyan stroked the gloves she just bought today, and then waved her little fists. I'll call you when the time comes. After killing Yuan Yi, I'll refine 10 5th-grade elixirs for you as snacks. Feng touched her little head and said immediately, I want to absorb the 7th-level beast fire now. You are responsible for being vigilant. No problem. Thinking of the people following them today, Ziyan also cheered up. Seeing her serious look, Feng raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and immediately took out the beast fire of the 7th-level blazing unicorn lizard. Since Feng had already had experience absorbing beast fire several times before, he succeeded quickly this time. After the beast fire was absorbed, Feng stretched out his finger and shouted, now. Bang! With a dull whisper, an orange-yellow flame that was several times stronger than the purple fire suddenly curled up from his fingers. It is indeed the flame taken out of the 7th-level monster. This power is much stronger than the purple fire of the previous amethyst-winged Lion King. Looking at the flames in his hands, Feng showed a satisfied expression. Chapter 101 Fighting King Melee. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a while, Feng withdrew the flame and began to think about the identity of the person who followed him today. Yuan Yi? Soon, Feng rejected this idea, that Yuan Yi is a 2-star Dou Huang, and he can feel that the 2 people he was following just now should be both Dou Huangs in strength. The stronger one looks like a high-level fighting king. Moreover, now Yuan Yi should be thinking of ways to steal the Emperor's pill, or the Earth-level intermediate skills, and it is unlikely that he came specifically to rob him. Is that the person who bid for the 7th-level beast fire with me today? Thinking of this, Feng felt that it was very possible. First, judging from where the man was sitting, he should also be a fighting king, and the other one was probably his companion. Secondly, the man who competed with him all the way to the end must really want the beast fire in his hand, in the black corner region. It is quite normal to think that if you can't buy it, grab it. Therefore, based on the above two pieces of information, the probability of the man in grey robe is extremely high. Of course, it is also possible that other people saw that he had money and wanted to grab it. However, this chance is relatively small. At that time, those people saw him and Ziyan entering the auction venue together, with a lineup of 2 fighting kings. Unless the fighting king or several fighting kings join forces to rob, it is possible to grab something. The former is basically ruled out, while the latter is also unlikely. After all, in this chaotic black corner territory, few people are willing to team up with strangers to do such high-risk things. In this environment of mutual distrust, the probability of finding a large number of monks of the same level to join forces for robbery is too low. As for the 2 men in yellow robes who dared to rob, it might be because of the high-level fighting king beside him. Thinking of this, Lin Feng took out Shao Kai from his sleeve, woke it up, and immediately said, "Shao Kai, someone wants to steal our things now. You can follow us by yourself in a while. When those 2 people show up, you can sneak attack. The stronger one, you know." When Shao Kai heard someone coming to grab something, she immediately patted her chest with her tail, indicating that she would definitely kill the other person. "Very good. After it's done, I'll let you drink the companion source until you're full." Lin Feng gently stroked its little head, then turned to look at Ziyan. "Wait a moment for the 2 of us to quickly deal with the weak one, and then go help Shao Kai. Leave it to me. Let's see if I don't beat the guy who dares to steal things to death." Ziyan clenched her fists, her expression full of anger. The actions of the 2 men who came to rob could not help but remind her of the scene when she was a child and was chased by those monsters in the mountains, which made her very unhappy. Lin Feng nodded and said immediately, "Then let's leave the city now, lest those Dou Huang who failed to snatch the Emperor's pill and the Earth-level intermediate skills come back to snatch us. After all, the value of what we bought is not low. It is good." A few hours later, Lin Feng and Ziyan, dressed in black robes, were flying towards the remote mountain forest. After flying again for a while, Lin Feng turned around and looked at the woods below, shouting loudly, "Come out, I've already found you." After fighting spirit mixed with sounds echoed in the nearby mountains and forests for a while, 2 figures quickly flew high into the sky from the nearby woods. Looking at Lin Feng and the 2 people in front of him, the man in grey robe laughed and said immediately, "In this case, it's better to hand over all the things, lest you lose your life in the future. It will be bad. After all, there is someone beside me. This one is a strong man from the 8-star fighting king." After speaking, the man in grey robe confidently pointed to the man in black next to him. Of course, this was not because he wanted to let Lin Feng go free, but because he was not confident that he could kill Lin Feng 100%. After all, what he possesses are Earth-level skills and fighting skills, not body skills. If Lin Feng and the 2 escape, they may not be able to stop them. If you want my things, it depends on whether you have the ability." Lin Feng chuckled and secretly made a gesture to Shao Kai, who was not far away. Whoosh! With a slight sound breaking through the air, a slender black shadow suddenly rushed to the side of the 8-star Dou King. Xiaocai's little tail, which seemed to have no offensive power, was swung down with great force. Who? Seeing something approaching, the fighting king also hurriedly used his fighting skills to fight against it, but those hastily used fighting skills couldn't withstand Shao Kai's attack. In less than a blink of an eye, the man was photographed towards the jungle below. Boom! As a loud noise came, the body of the high-level fighting king came into close contact with the earth. Hiss! Damn it, what the hell? Being hit by this strong force caused pain everywhere in his body, as if he was about to fall apart. Turning around and looking at the sky where he was standing just now, he saw a small snake with colorful lights flying towards him under the sunlight. Level 5 monsters. They are 3 fighting kings. That when the man saw Shao Kai, his pupils suddenly shrank and he exclaimed unconsciously. When he saw Shao Kai, he didn't know what was going on, but when he saw Shao Kai approaching, he quickly got up to resist. Naturally, Lin Feng and Ziyan on the side would not give up this opportunity. They disappeared in the blink of an eye and attacked the remaining gray-robed man. "Old man, if you dare to block the road and rob, look at my earth-shattering fist." Ziyan took the lead, holding gloves on her hands, and used the earth-level fighting skills she had just learned. Suddenly, the fighting spirit from the surrounding world quickly surged into Ziyan's petite body. Immediately, a huge stream of purple fighting energy condensed on her seemingly thin right fist, and then punched forward. When the man in gray robe heard Ziyan scolding him, his face suddenly turned gloomy, and he said harshly, "Damn it, I thought you were the only one who knew how to fight on the ground level." Earth-level low-level fighting skill, fire element palm. As soon as he finished speaking, the fighting spirit around the gray-robed old man was sucked into his body, and a huge red palm print was instantly outlined with fighting spirit in front of him. Boom! As the two collided, a thunderous explosion suddenly sounded in the nearby sky, the purple and red light curtains collided, and the fighting spirit burst out, turning the originally green jungle below into a veritable lush plain. Humph! As soon as they made contact, the gray-robed old man only felt a huge force coming from Ziyan's fist, which made him groan involuntarily, and the blood in his body surged. Ziyan also felt a little uncomfortable. After all, strictly speaking, her fighting spirit level was only the entry-level fighting king, which was much lower than that of her opponent. Fortunately, she has a strong physique and can hold on for the time being. Damn it, how can this guy have earth-level fighting skills? Seeing the gray-robed fighting king confronting Ziyan, Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. He didn't expect that the other party would actually have this level of fighting skills. There was also a feeling of regret in his heart. If he had known better, he would have asked Xiao Kai to sneak attack the person in front of him, but looking at the suppressed high-level fighting king on the side, he felt a burst of ecstasy. In the current situation, their side has the upper hand. After killing the gray-robed man, wouldn't that earth-level fighting skill be his? Moreover, that person's soul perception is also extremely strong. It seems that he is an alchemist of a high level, and he also happens to lack prescriptions for 5th grade medicine and above. Isn't this a pillow for him when he feels sleepy? Good chance. Seeing the stalemate between the two, Lin Feng's eyes lit up, and he immediately used the 3 mysterious transformations of heavenly fire. Under the explosion of the 7th-level beast fire, his Dou Qi level rose from a 2-star Dou Wang to barely entering a 5-star level in just a few seconds. After that, the purple cloud wings were superimposed on the Dou Qi transformation wings again. Roar! With a sound of lion spirit, Lin Feng did not rely on the spear to use the mad lion spirit this time, but directly concentrated it with his bare hands. After all, the fighting energy in the body was not strong enough at that time, so he had to use weapons to exert it, but now, the strength of his fighting spirit can support him to cast it directly and instantly. After all, in the final analysis, this crazy lion spirit relies on the fighting spirit to form a solid attack. As long as the fighting spirit is strong enough, it can be directly condensed. As his wings shook, Lin Feng quickly approached the gray-robed man with bursts of sonic booms. So fast, seeing Lin Feng suddenly approaching, the old man's pupils suddenly shrank into needles. At the same time, as a 5th-grade alchemist, he naturally cannot be as ignorant as the fighting spirit before. Seeing Lin Feng's sudden increase in fighting spirit level, he unconsciously shouted, "Why did this guy's strength suddenly increase so much?" It's a secret method to temporarily increase the level. Feeling the aura of Lin Feng's 5-star fighting king, the gray-robed old man quickly activated the fighting spirit in his body. The red palm prints that collided with Ziyan also surged, knocking Ziyan away in an instant, and then quickly used his fighting energy to resist Lin Feng's attack. However, because Lin Feng was too fast, he could not finish his fighting skills and had to fight against the former in a hurry. Even though he is 1 star higher than the current Lin Feng, he has lost. The increase in fighting skills, he almost directly resisted Lin Feng's move, and then flew backwards uncontrollably. After gliding dozens of meters in the air, just as he stabilized his body, the energy and blood in his body surged. He couldn't bear it anymore, and a mouthful of blood spurted out. The hand that had just confronted Lin Feng also turned black, and bursts of burning smell could be seen coming from it. The burning sensation also made him grin. At the same time, in order to quickly repel Ziyan, he forcibly activated his fighting energy, which caused bursts of tearing sensations in his meridians. which made him extremely uncomfortable. I also began to regret in my heart. If I hadn't coveted the 7th level beast fire, I wouldn't have let myself fall into such a dangerous situation. When Lin Feng saw that he could not kill the opponent in one go, he quickly said to Ziyan, "You hold him back so that I can use the heart-piercing finger." "It is good." Ziyan nodded, and quickly rushed forward again, entangled with the old man in grey robe. Lin Feng quickly passed by, and finally his right index finger flickered with a golden light and penetrated the opponent's body. The old man in grey robe was forcibly knocked away by the fighting spirit, and a large stream of blood spurted out from his mouth again. One hand was covering the wound that Lin Feng had just made. At this time, blood was already flowing there. The old man in grey robe didn't care, he just looked at Lin Feng with a smile on his face with sinister eyes. Chapter 102 Big Harvest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If it weren't for Lin Feng's incredible speed, he wouldn't be so passive and couldn't escape even if he wanted to. Wait, what is this? That because he was distracted by Ziyan, he didn't realize that the penetrating power had entered his body, and now it suddenly burst out, causing him to shout in panic. At the same time, the already cracked meridians in the body could no longer bear it and broke one after another. "Look at me, earth-shattering fist." Seeing that the opponent's attention was attracted by the penetrating power of Lin Feng's heart-piercing finger, Ziyan turned her small hand several times and slammed it on the opponent's head. Oh! The moment Ziyan's fist collided with the grey-robed old man's head, a ball of red and white blood mist suddenly flowed out. Then, a huge shock wave spread around the collision point, and the body of the grey-robed old man also hit the ground like a meteorite falling from the sky. As a loud noise was heard, billowing dust and smoke immediately rose from the jungle below. When Lin Feng saw this, he was also worried that the other party was not dead, so he hurriedly threw a mad lion downwards again. After the explosion, Lin Feng waved his right palm, and the strong air waves immediately blew away the smoke and dust, leaving only a broken body. Damn it! After another high-level fighting king saw his employer's death, he cursed and immediately wanted to run away. Unfortunately, Xiao Kai's speed kept him unable to escape. Ziyan, go help Xiao Kai kill the remaining person. Lin Feng saw this and said to Ziyan, who was in a state of excitement because she succeeded in killing the enemy. Okay. The latter, in response, immediately rushed towards the battlefield over there. Lin Feng landed next to the grey-robed old man. Perhaps due to the impact, the grey robe on his body was broken at this time, and Lin Feng also saw his appearance. Looking at the 60-year-old man in the pit, Lin Feng stepped forward, looked at the head that had disappeared, gave up the idea of finishing the attack, and pulled off the ring from his hand. With anticipation, Lin Feng slowly closed his eyes, and his sole perception began to explore the items in his ring. After a moment, Lin Feng suddenly opened his eyes, filled with excitement. According to his inference from the contents of this ring, the grey-robed old man in front of him should be a 5th-grade alchemist. In Neji, there is not only a volume of Earth-level exercises and a volume of Earth-level fighting skills, but also a large number of prescriptions. In particular, there are more than 10 volumes of prescriptions for 5th-grade elixirs. Moreover, there is actually a prescription for the 5th-grade peak elixir, the Dou Ling Dan. Not to mention the various other medicinal materials and medicine refining equipment. This time, he made a fortune. Lin Feng, deal with that person. Just when Lin Feng was lost in thought because of the large number of good things, Ziyan also returned with Xiao Kai, still throwing a Na ring in her hand. Okay, let's get out of here first. Lin Feng nodded and said immediately. Well, I'll give you the ring. Remember to help me refine the medicine. After Ziyan said that, she threw her hand to the former. No problem. Lin Feng put all the Najis of the two into his arms, and then flew towards the small valley with the two little ones. After returning to the valley, even though Lin Feng became weak due to the side effects of the secret technique, he still couldn't help but take out the volume of low-level Earth-level techniques and watch them. The Heavenly Sun Transformation Flame technique is a low-level Earth-level technique. It took me decades to create this technique, and I condensed my insights from hundreds of years of practice. After practicing this technique, if it is exposed to strong sunlight, its power will increase dramatically. After reading the last word, Lin Feng slowly raised his head with a smile on his lips. He must now advance to Dou Huang before his lifespan runs out, and with this volume of skills, his certainty will become even greater. After memorizing the following content, Lin Feng couldn't wait to start practicing the exercises. As expected, it is an earth-level technique. After practicing it, not only does the speed of practice increase dramatically, but the fighting spirit in the body also becomes purer and more powerful. Feeling the strong pure fighting spirit in his body, Lin Feng finally understood why the old man in grey robe was able to suppress Ziyan when Ziyan's power had the absolute upper hand. After curiously exploring the skills for a while, Lin Feng immediately took out the volume of earth-level fighting skills. Fire Element Palm, a low-level earth-level palm. This palm uses fighting energy to condense the palm prints to fight against the enemy. When practiced to great perfection, it can break mountains and crack the ground with every move of its hands and feet. Hee, that's really good. Looking at his first local fighting skill in his hand, Lin Feng couldn't help laughing. Tisk, it's just earth-level fighting skills, and you're laughing like this. Ziyan grabbed a handful of pills and swallowed them, muttering angrily. What do you know, naughty boy? This is the joy of a good harvest. When Lin Feng heard this, he immediately retorted. After saying that, he turned back to look at the other items in the ring again. After a while, all the 5th grade prescriptions inside were sorted out. There are quite a lot of 5th grade medicinal prescriptions here, from the basic injury removing pill and the spirit raising pill to the peak spirit fighting pill. It can be said that they are all available. It's a pity that there are no 6th grade prescriptions here. After putting all the prescriptions away, Lin Feng sighed slightly and said with some disappointment. However, when he saw the 5-mouth medicine cauldron, his face immediately changed. After taking it out, he carefully wiped it and looked at the medicine cauldron. The medicine cauldron was dark red in color and covered with various patterns. It looked very extraordinary. At first glance, it was clear that it was much better than the medicine cauldron he used before. Yes, now I finally don't have to be burdened by that junk medicine cauldron. Smiling and stroking the slightly cold surface of the medicinal cauldron, Lin Feng said with some joy. Then, Lin Feng continued to search for Neji for a while, and found that there were very few pills in it. This left him a little confused, wondering if he had opened a fake 5th grade alchemist's ring. However, looking at the extremely high-quality jade bottle deep in the Neji, Lin Feng curiously took it out and poured out the elixir inside. This is the spirit fighting pill. Looking at the green elixir in his hand, Lin Feng thought for a moment and finally found the information about this elixir from the depths of his memory. Dou Ling Dan, this is a kind of elixir that can make the powerful Dou Wang jealous. Its effect is that the Dou Wang level warrior who consumes it can be raised by 1-star level. In other words, if a 2-star Dou Wang takes the Dou Ling Dan, he can become a 3-star Dou King in just a few days. You know, at the level of Dou Wang, the gap between each star is extremely huge. Many powerful Dou Wang masters still stop at a certain star after practicing hard for several years. Of course, although the effect of Dou Ling Dan is extremely eye-catching, it has extremely high resistance. As long as someone takes one, the second Dou Ling Dan will basically lose its effect on him. In other words, a fighting king can only take one fighting spirit pill in his life. However, even so, Dou Ling Dan is the most coveted elixir among the powerful class. Countless people are even willing to pay a huge price in order to get a spirit fighting pill. Hey, I didn't expect that this 5th grade alchemist still has such an elixir. Looking at him like that, he probably can't refine it. He must have traded it from somewhere. With that said, Lin Feng quickly put the elixir back into the jade bottle and sealed it to prevent the potency from being lost. Then he waved the jade bottle and hesitated for a moment before taking back the ring. Anyway, he still has enough lifespan now, so he is not in a hurry. It would be better to wait until the high-level fighting king takes it. After that, Lin Feng found the remaining things. Except for some medicine refining notes, there was nothing that could interest him. Sighing slightly disappointed, he immediately put the ring into his arms. As for the Neji of the high-level Dou Wang, it was much different. Except for some Xian-level martial arts fighting skills and a small amount of elixirs, there is nothing else. After sorting out the items, Lin Feng began to think about his future plans. As for joining Canaan College, he was the first to be excluded. With his current Strength, there are not many items in Canaan Academy that can attract him. If I have to talk about it, it would be the fallen heart flames and the advanced fighting skills in the Sutra Pavilion, but those things, even if he joined Canaan College, the college would not be able to give him. The matter of trading strange fire was also forgotten by him. After all, he was already considering the burning technique, so naturally he would not trade the strange fire again. Furthermore, if he becomes an elder of Canaan Academy, when Han Feng grabs the strange fire, he will not be able to act under the gaze of those elders, but if he were an outsider, he might sneak into the tower to get the strange fire. Of course, this does not guarantee 100% success. But at least there weren't so many people watching, so I was able to act normally. After eliminating the option of Canaan Academy, Lin Feng thought of joining Han Feng's force. When the time comes, when Han Feng is cool, he will be able to take over the former's territory as soon as possible. However, after thinking for a moment, I decided to abandon this option. What if Han Feng asked him to go with him while waiting for the strange fire? Would he go or not? If he goes, he will be exposed to the eyes of the elders of Canaan Academy, and there will be no chance of sneaking into the tower secretly. If he didn't go, Han Feng would probably treat him as a traitor, which would be very troublesome. Forget it, let's form our own force. After a long time, Lin Feng let out a breath and said helplessly, anyway, now he is a 5th-grade alchemist, and coupled with Dou Wang's strength, he has been able to build a good force in the Black Corner domain. Opening the purchased information, Lin Feng searched for a moment, and finally set his sights on the information about the Lingshan gang in Lingshan City. The strongest member of the Lingshan gang is Dou Wang, so let's use this place as our base. Looking at the information written above, Lin Feng murmured, then she looked at Ziyan and said, I'm going to create a force in a few days. Do you want to join me? Well, no, old man Su Qian said that it's okay to come out to play, but you must not get involved with the forces in the Black Corner domain. Ziyan hesitated for a moment, thinking of the old man's angry appearance, and refused. Okay, Shao Kai and I can handle this small force. Speaking of Shao Kai, Lin Feng remembered that the promise he had made to Shao Kai had not yet come true, so he took out the companion source and pulled the plug. Chapter 103 Lingshan City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the alluring fragrance slowly floated out, after a while, Lin Feng felt that the little guy on his wrist had disappeared, then the jade bottle in front of him sank slightly, and Shao Kai was sucking it like a starving ghost. Good. Smelling the fragrance, Ziyan also swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked at Shao Kai, who was eating happily. Hey, Shao Kai, let me have some too. With that said, Ziyan stretched out her little hand to get it. Crack. However, as soon as Ziyan's little hand came close, she was whipped by the little tail. Immediately, Shao Kai raised the snake's head and stared at Ziyan with a pair of purple gem-like eyes, and because Lin Feng had just made a move and did not withdraw his breath so quickly, Huangji had naturally discovered that it was the former who had made the move. At this time, his eyes were looking unkindly at the former who was hidden in a black robe. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng didn't say anything. He had long been used to the quarrels between the two, and this city is controlled by the Lingshan gang in the city. Not long ago, he asked Ziyan to find a 6th-level magic core with water attributes in Canaan College. After a month, I finally learned a little bit. In the Black Angle territory, generally speaking, even the 7-star Dou Wang cannot defend it. Exhaling slightly, Lin Feng activated the Tianyang flame transformation technique to crazily absorb the free-fighting spirit between heaven and earth. Hey. Lin Feng didn't waste any more nonsense. The beast fire in his body suddenly erupted, and his aura surged to the level of 5-star Dou King in an instant. On both sides of the city, there are endless mountains of monsters, with only one road in the middle running from north to south. Boom! After so much struggle, I was finally able to successfully use this fighting skill. At the same time, Han Feng's fighting spirit level not only reached the peak of Dou Huang, but the city he was in was also closer to Canaan College. Therefore, there can only be Dou Wang level forces that are relatively easy to control near Canaan City. After smashing into more than a dozen houses, the giant energy lion suddenly exploded in his stomach. After that, he took out a volume of prescription called Xingling Pill from Neji. The Ascension Pill is a 5th-grade entry-level elixir. As for its efficacy, it is pretty good. It can help a person at the peak of the great fighting master to advance to the fighting spirit 100%, but the trick is that he has completely forgotten which elder owns it. Although these two little guys usually have a good relationship, whenever there is something delicious to eat, they won't let anyone go. Looking at this spiritual elixir, Lin Feng had a smile on his lips. He did not expect to successfully refine this elixir for the second time. Xiao Kai turned her head back disdainfully and continued to smoke. He saw someone running dozens of meters away from him, but he didn't notice it. His back was suddenly wet with cold sweat, and he subconsciously raised his arms to resist the attack. Except for local residents, everyone else has to pay a fee every time they enter the city. Immediately, a feminine angry voice reached Lin Feng's ears. You are so brave. A mere 2-star fighting king actually dares to come and cause trouble in my territory. Because the leader of the 7-star Dou Wang has already appeared in the sky, although he remembered that an elder from Canaan College had a 6th-level magic core with water attributes, the pain of broken bones followed, causing the deputy gang leader to wail in pain. He soon realized something was wrong and yelled, "Damn it, inside your body." He took out a scroll and started looking at some precautions for the Spirit Ascension pill, who makes it impossible for him to enter the inner courtyard of Canaan College openly now. Seeing the sudden surge of aura, Huangji was stunned for a moment, and then he understood. His soft eyes instantly looked at Lin Feng greedily, and laughed wildly. Since such secret techniques have been delivered to the door, then I, the gang leader, will not be polite. Seeing its disdainful look, Ziyan vowed to find something good and then show it off in front of the little bug. It doesn't matter whether I am brave or not. You just need to hand over Lingshan city to me. That look seemed to say, if you dare to steal my favorite, we will end our relationship. After walking around and dealing with a few villains, the deputy gang leader wanted to go back to the gang. Forget it, don't wait for that girl. Let's destroy the Lingshan gang first and establish the prototype of our own power. This look of being a deputy food protector made Ziyan furious in an instant, and she said angrily, if you don't want to eat, you won't eat. Next time I find something delicious, don't eat it either. Put it into the jade bottle and put it into the ring. As soon as the deputy gang leader raised his arm, his forearm bone was pierced by a golden light. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng shook his head helplessly, then took out a jade bottle and threw it to Ziyan and said, there are some pills in here, just take it and eat it, and don't steal its accompanying amethyst source. This thing is also just a few bottles, it's gone after it's finished. However, Lin Feng no longer paid attention to the situation there. If he wants to establish a decent force, he must have at least equal strength and alchemy skills, but it has been several days, but there is still no sign of the girl. Fire elemental palm. As strong energy fluctuations hit the medicine cauldron, there were crisp bell sounds. With a loud noise, all the surrounding houses disappeared. At this moment, a man in black robes appeared on the roof next to him, and then rushed towards him. Every once in a while, he would walk around and inspect. As long as you are not careful, those lawless and vicious people can easily cause trouble, because Huangji, the leader of the Lingshan gang, is a 7-star Dou Wang master, plus a deputy gang leader of the 2-star Dou Wang. Who? Looking at the pit in front of him, Lin Feng looked a little happy. After rummaging through Neji for a while, he had already used a lot of the medicinal materials obtained from the amethyst-winged lion king and gut. For a long time, Lin Feng thought to himself, then wrote a note and left it where he was. He spread his wings and flew towards Lingshan city. Lingshan city belongs to the northern part of the Black Horn region, but you can enter the southern region by walking about 100 miles south. A ray of orange flames suddenly met the blue whip, and finally both of them dissipated in the air, leaving only waves of air surging around. What? Only a pit was left on the spot. Telling the story of the attack, Lin Feng raised the corners of his mouth slightly and laughed softly, but he can't raise his fighting spirit level all at once. In this case, he can only improve his alchemy skills first. The soul perception entered the prescription along the arm, and in an instant, all the information inside rushed into Lin Feng's mind crazily. Thinking of Ziyan who had been missing for several days, Lin Feng couldn't help but murmured softly, I don't know if that girl Ziyan has been found. Because it is close to the southern part of the Black Corner territory, many caravans traveling north and south pass by here every day, so it is quite popular. After saying that, the dark blue wings behind him shook, and his figure suddenly shot out. In a mountain forest, Lin Feng shouted softly. Therefore, we can only let Ziyan check it bit by bit. Of course, there are exceptions to everything. Not far to the north of Lingshan City, there is a city called Maple City. Therefore, Canaan Academy will never allow this place to be occupied by a certain Dou Huang. An orange palm print quickly appeared in front of him, and he immediately slapped it towards a hill next to him. But the mountains on the left side of Lingshan City are connected to the back mountains of Canaan College. Otherwise, who would be willing to join your newly established small force? At the same time, the sea blue fighting energy in his right palm surged, and then evolved into 8 energy snakes, which suddenly shot out, along with the dust and gravel flying everywhere. When the smoke and dust dispersed, the original hillock had disappeared. Otherwise, it will easily pose a threat to the students in the college who are training in the back mountains. However, this is a great place where you can make millions of profits just by sleeping at home. After all, this Black Corner territory is not very chaotic like other places. Humph, I'm leaving now. I'll come back to you next time. After closing his eyes and digesting for a while, Feng understood all the information about this prescription. Wow, damn it. Huh. The secret method to improve the level of fighting spirit. Seeing this, Feng smiled slightly and immediately put away the companion source. Before he could finish speaking, a giant orange energy lion slammed into his abdomen and then took him backwards at high speed. Leave it to you. I'd better hand you to hell. But with the addition of the gray-robed 5th grade alchemist's collection, it's still enough. If she finds it, let her tell the other party that he is willing to exchange the elixir for it. Looking at the medicine cauldron filled with orange flames in front of him, Feng slightly bent his palm, and a blue pill flew out and fell into his palm. After a while, he exhaled slightly and started refining the elixir. Dang, that there is the territory of Medicine Emperor Han Feng. On this day, the deputy gang leader of the Lingshan gang began to patrol the city as usual. After Huangji finished speaking, sea blue fighting energy surged around his body, and a long blue whip quickly attacked Feng. Therefore, not many people dare to come here to act wild. Looking at the feminine-looking man in the sky, Feng guessed that he was Huangji. In that case, he would not be able to absorb many masters at once, and the development of his power would become extremely slow. Soon after, Xiao Kai, who had eaten enough, burped, then returned to Feng's wrist and fell asleep. This month, he spent half a day practicing earth-level fighting skills and half a day refining medicine every day. Relying on the favorable location, the Lingshan gang can earn millions in net profits from these caravans every year. However, Feng remembered that the inheritance that Frank gave him earlier seemed to contain notes on refining the spiritual ascension pill. Ziyan took the jade bottle and flew away angrily. However, due to various reasons, Canaan College did not choose to expel Han Feng in the end, but only sent more manpower to monitor the latter's movements. As a large amount of fighting energy poured into his body, it was all controlled by his mind and rushed towards the meridians of the fire origin palm. Finally, under the combined absorption of martial arts and fighting skills, a huge orange palm print more than 10 meters high appeared unknowingly on Feng's raised right palm. Feng pushed his palm forward, and with a roaring sound, the palm print suddenly hit the blue energy snakes.